This video is for use of spacing to establish details like a fence or sidewalk. So I've already got my horizon line, I've got my two vanishing points. I'm going to start with just the simple height line that I want the fence to be. And from here we're going to take the top and bottom back to across the page to the left vanishing point, just so we can see a good bit of the fence. If we went to the right, it would get small very quickly, and that's going to be something you're going to need to consider when creating your composition. From the top point back as well. Let me go back here. We're missing. Making sure you guys can see these on the video. They're not all just black lines. We try to color code them for you. At this point, we need to establish from the first post how far back we want the second post. So I'm going to make this a pretty large space just so it doesn't get too small too quick as we go back. So there's our next post. From here, we use that centering method similar to a pitched roof, just creating an X within this box. And this will give us, and let me go ahead and color code this as well. This will give us the center of the space, which we then can use from the same vanishing point back through the center, and we're finding the middle of the height. From this point, now we can start actually doing the spacing. We need to do all this first before we can jump into really what we want to know is how far apart these are. To do this, we're going to start, you can do bottom corner or top corner. I'm going to stick with top corner because that's going to be what you see more often. Take that and actually let's get in real close for this. There we go. So, top corner through this center line on the next post. So right here, down through it, same angle, till you hit that bottom line. What we have now is we can create our next height line. So just going straight up, and make this green again. And we continue to repeat this process. So one more time, let's go ahead and move this over a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Top corner, next post, through that center line, down to the bottom. And from here again, we're going to just draw our height. And we're going to repeat this all the way out. And so hopefully at this point you've got a pretty good idea of how this works. I'm going to go ahead and just do the rest of them quickly here while we continue to talk. What works really nice with this type of measuring is that you can reuse it. And especially when you're starting to learn, reusing it helps from saving a lot of this measurement work and creating clutter in a drawing. You're welcome to do it either way, but I think this is a little simpler, and I think you're going to get more out of the effort you put in. So here's our fence. Let's go ahead and darken it in with a blue line temporarily, just so we have an idea of what we're working with. And then we're going to get to how we can use this for other elements. And this is the kind of same idea. You know, you're using your 2B to draw the guidelines. You come in with something like a 6B, which is darker. You know, I'm just color coding them just because I have that advantage using the software. But just think about how your pencils can organize lines through value. And you know, don't be afraid if you have like a standard drawing pencil, something like a 2H works just as well for guidelines. So there's our fence. It's spaced using the method shown in the book. Now what we can do with this, we can reuse it to do a sidewalk as well. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to go through the other vanishing point and come down, touch the bottom corner, and just extend it out. Now this one's going to extend off the page, and that's fine. You don't have to limit your drawings to be just on the page. They can go outside the borders. Gives us something to kind of imagine what's going on. Same process with the next one. Go down through that point, continue to extend that line at the same angle, and just repeat. And this way you can transfer a vertical measurement to something that's a horizontal. Excuse me there. And there's other ways to reuse these measurements as I kind of wrap this portion up. You can use, say you wanted to do buildings and you wanted them to be spaced too, so maybe use every 3 fences or every 2 fences. You can reuse those measurements to really get a strong sense of organization throughout. So we've extended those lines, I've extended them further than I need. What we're going to do to establish kind of a thickness on the ground plane is just going to come back out, extend this off, and then we just need to darken our lines, and I'll go ahead and do that now just so you can see how this will look, and we'll use a slightly different color to help emphasize the difference here between the vertical fence and the horizontal sidewalk. And hopefully you'll find this is helpful with the assignment. I've tried to keep this fairly quick, but at the same time giving you tips on ways to kind of get the most out of a technique like this, because I know at first it's going to be time consuming. You're going to be following directions like you're cooking something in the kitchen. It's going to take a little bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, it'll go pretty quickly. So now we have our fence, now we have our sidewalk, and it's all worked out.